Hi everyone, so it's the 2nd of November right now and the evening, and yeah, it's a bit windy outside, sorry if you can hear that. But I want to take part in the 1,000 Doors Readathon. I have been aware of this readathon a while. I'm starting late because I was finishing a previous book, and I'm not starting late just because I've all of a sudden decided to jump on this. This readathon just seems like such an exciting thing. Because I don't know when I'm going to have internet at this point, this could be really outdated by the time it makes it onto the internet. So if there is any point in me linking the information for the readathon down below, then I will. Otherwise, probably not going to bother. But yeah, I'm so excited to be taking part in this readathon. The first option that I can pick from for a prompt, I've got 3 possibilities. And I think I want to go with Emma's, which was the number 5, which can be interpreted in whatever way I like. So I'm just looking at my shelves now, not sure what to go with. The other options were sort of related to Breaking Bad, so I could go down a drug route if I wanted to, or like the family aspect, or like the crime aspect. Or another option was something to do with history, that's all I really remember, so I could go for that. I'm thinking possibly of trying to pick a book off my shelves that I've owned at least 5 years and not read. So to kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking at here, I'm not sure. I think I've owned a lot of them longer than 5 years, to be honest. Maybe something from around this region, because these were Goodreads books that I won. So maybe I've had them longer than 5 years. Let's have a little look. So off the top of my head, I'm quite interested in these 3 that I've pulled out. I remember being really interested in this. I think it's a historical fiction, so that would work for one of the prompts. I'm really interested in this, and it's quite short, so that kind of helped me on my continuation out of my current kind of reading slump situation. I mean, I remember being really excited about the description of this one. So I think I'll work in thickness and see how long I've had this one for first. I also really want to pick this one up if I can, because I want to work through the books that I've never read on my bookcase and try to get rid of some, because I'm not sure whether this vlog will have gone up yet, but the one where I'm moving and trying to get the books onto my shelves is just all a bit stressful. I need to start learning to unhaul, and what better way than to kind of go for the books that I'm least attached for in terms of shifting them. So yeah, I want to read a lot of these that I've never read before, so then I can get rid of the ones that aren't like absolute favourites or gifts or anything. So I want to check this out and see. So this is Moorfield School, and the mystery is the start of an exciting children's series featuring Samantha, whose parents teach at her school. Oh, so this is set in Manchester in England. The school's about to close down. Mystery, Lakeview students, local haunted house. We're only a couple of days after Halloween, so this could be a fun read. Meanwhile, I checked, and this was published in 2013, so I've had it 7 years, because I definitely got it back when it came out. Or if not, definitely not long after that. So I've definitely had it longer than 5 years. So that's the way I'm interpreting this prompt. The number 5, owned for at least 5 years. Gonna crack on with this. Hopefully get a lot of it read tonight, because how many pages? It's barely over 100 pages. So this should be perfect for me for a first read of this readathon. Hopefully I'll be checking back to you either later tonight or Wednesday, as I'm at work all day tomorrow, my first day back at work after moving. So hopefully today or Wednesday, I'll hopefully be getting back to you with info on this, and then looking at what the next prompt will be. Hi everyone, so it's now a week later. It's a bit less than a week. The readathon's been going on like about a week, and I finally finished my first book of Moorfield School and the Mystery by Liam Moyser. I received this book for free in a Goodreads giveaway absolutely years ago, and so I feel really bad to be giving this book 2 stars, but that's exactly what I'm doing. So I thought this would be a really fun kids Halloween-y read. What I got was, I'll say actually, the last 20 pages or so delivered on that. But this is like a 100-ish page book, and most of it was spent with irritating child characters, especially girls specifically, giggling at everything. Everything was, oh, and then Samantha giggled. Oh, and then she giggled. Oh, she giggled. Like, how much giggling do we need? And the other amount of pages up till this point with a teacher that just seems to not be able to keep her eyes open and fall asleep. And the moment this teacher falls asleep, the kids wander off, do whatever they like, and get reported as missing. Well, maybe the teacher should do a job instead of just randomly going to sleep. It just felt really poorly done and just a bit pathetic and also poorly written in places. But there was some promise there with the end of the book, and so as I said, I gave it 2 stars. I kind of wanted to DNF it, since DNFing is a thing in this readathon, but I still need to improve on my DNFing. I kept thinking it'll get better, which I suppose it technically did. So yeah, I kept thinking it'll get better, or well, I got sent this to review years ago and I never did, so I should at least do it properly now. Or I kept thinking, it's only short. It's not going to take me long anyway. I might as well just carry on. So it was a combination of all those which led to me actually finishing this book. But I can also therefore happily report that I'm going to unhaul this book totally guilt-free. Not bothered at all. So I may go and watch the next YouTube video to see what my next prompt is, so I can kind of work out what I'm going to be reading next. Okay, so my next prompt is a book that feels like Taylor Swift's folklore album. I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan. I kind of enjoyed, is the album called Red? I think I liked that album, if that's an album. But yeah, she isn't someone I massively keep up with, so I'm gonna go and get some breakfast because it's still quite early. I'm gonna get some breakfast and peruse the songs that are on the album, see if there are any on it that I know and like. If there aren't, I'm just going to read through the song titles and then possibly some of the lyrics to the song titles and see if I can make anything work. Right, it is absolutely ages later. It's just taken me so long to look over my bookshelves and actually find something. And I have settled for The Nightmare Place by Steve Mosby. I got this again in a Goodreads giveaway absolutely years ago, never read it, and so now is the time to crack on. I'm linking this to the prompt because there's a song on the album called Hoax, and in the description I also have the word hoax. So it says sometimes there's a thin line between love and hate, or at least that's one theory for DI Zoe Dolan, tracking the creeper, a stalker who's been breaking into women's homes and attacking them. No pattern, no clue as to how he gets in, and no clue as to who's next. Until Jane Webster gets a call to the helpline where she volunteers. It could be a hoaxer, but the soft voice at the end of the line has the ring of truth about it. It should be the lead that Zoe needs, but it only pulls her further into a case that is already taking her dangerously close to the past that she's never fully escaped. For Jane, Zoe and all the other young women of the city, suddenly nowhere is safe, particularly their own bedroom at the dead of night. And I know I'm stretching this prompt to the limit and beyond, but I was getting really desperate. This book looked like a good read, and then when I saw the word hoax, I was like, yep. So, hoping to enjoy this one. It is nearly 400 pages long, so not sure how many days it's going to take me to get through this one. I'm also not going to start it just yet. I might start it later this afternoon, but yeah, I just want to give the other book time to process a bit more yet. So, I'm just cooking dinner, and while I'm waiting for the oven to heat up, I thought it was the perfect time to go and grab my book and start reading The Nightmare Place. I'm really excited to try this out, so hoping to get a good chunk of this actually read tonight, especially since outside is just really suiting the mood too. It's just really misty. It's been misty all day. We've been for a walk in it and it was beautiful. And yeah, it's just all foggy and creepy, and yeah, perfect setting to read this book. So I'll get a candle on the go later. It's just gonna be so cozy. Okay, so try to ignore how terrible I look. I'm about to go and get in the shower, but I'm just really sad. Last night I started reading the book and I could feel like a really bad head coming on, so I stopped, and now today I've got such an awful migraine. I've just drugged myself up. I'm about to go and get in the shower, but yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to read today, and I really want to crack on with this book. So I'm not really sure whether I'm going to be reading today now, and I really want to read. You know when you're just in a, I really want to read kind of mood day. So I might have to have a cleaning day with audiobook on instead, maybe. Maybe the shower will help me feel better. The shower helped. I still look a bit rough, I know. So I'm going to try reading for an hour and just see how I get on. And I'll probably stop then anyway, just to give myself a break. But if it goes well, I will just kind of just reading in little interspersed throughout the day and see how that goes for me. Don't want to strain my head and eyes too much. But yeah, I'm so excited to just actually have like some alone time in the house. As I don't know whether it was this vlog I mentioned or a different vlog that I'm also filming at the same time. This is the first time I've been home alone in the new house. And as much as I've missed living with Luke, it's nice to have a bit of me time right now and be able to just sit and read in peace. Like, Luke's such a distraction. I'll start reading and he'll talk to me, or I'll start reading and be like, do you want to play this game? And I'll be like, yeah, sure. And then I'm like, oh, I've not done any reading. So yeah, it'd be nice to just see what I can do while being home alone. Okay, so I've just been reading for about an hour and I feel like I've made decent progress. It doesn't look it, but I am now on page 44. I would be a lot further than that, but soon after picking the book up, I realised I couldn't really connect what had happened with what I'd read last night. So I started again from the beginning because I was like, I'd rather just restart and get the experience properly. What I'm now learning is I didn't stand a chance and would never have got what was going on today connected with last night anyway, because there seems to be a couple of different kind of perspectives going on. So one of the perspectives, we follow a police, what is she? Detective? So one perspective we follow is a police detective. Now, she is upstairs, home alone, when she hears an intruder. And she's assuming she's being burgled, so she makes a lot of noise and sort of makes it clear to the burglars that she's coming down. And then once she comes downstairs, she does indeed realise that she is being burgled. But one of her colleagues tells her off for kind of responding in the way that she does, because they're also working on a case where there is a attacker breaking into women's homes when they are home alone. And yes, this did freak me out a little bit. As I said, I am home alone in this new house for the first time today, and I was a bit like, ooh. But these women live alone as well. It's not just like that they're home alone, it's that they live alone. And yeah, they were like, what if it had been this person? And she was like, well, it wasn't. They were like, but it could have been. And so yeah, there's all that going on. Then there's another perspective, which is where I would have been picking it up from today. And I was like, how does this link? So this other perspective, we've got someone who works for like, I'm not exactly sure exactly what the charity is, but you kind of volunteer and work on the phones for like, it's kind of like a helpline. So it could be a helpline for any various things. And this person is training still, and they are dealing with a fake call. Like, it's literally part of the training, but it's based upon a real call that the trainer has had, where someone is basically ringing them and talking about how they're committing suicide, and they're not allowed to help them unless the person kind of asks for help. So they're just a bit like, oh, and finding that really hard to deal with, even though it's not a real call, but it could be a real call in the future. And so yeah, I'm just like, how is this all connecting up right now? But I'm really enjoying what I've read. We'll definitely be trying to read more of this as the day goes on. Hopefully the washing machine isn't drowning me out. So I'm going to go and make some lunch. Maybe take some more painkillers as I am struggling a little bit with my head again. Yeah, really happy with my hour of progress. Really enjoying the book. It's a couple of days later. My migraine totally took over. And so I just had to give up on the idea of actually being able to read. So I've not done any reading for a couple of days, except for listening to my audiobook on and off. And so I'm just making myself some breakfast. Sorry if you can hear the washing machine. I'm trying to have a really productive morning, so I put the washing machine on. I'm making myself some breakfast. I've already had a cup of tea, so I'm just gonna have some water with my toast, I think. But yeah, I really now, after watching a couple of Aoife's videos from Words of Clover, I'm really in the mood to just sit down and do some reading. So yeah, once my toast is ready. Oh, I really do hate this problem. I'm one of those people that like their toast really dark. We've got quite big bread right now though, so one side's acceptable, the other side isn't, but I'm also close to burning if I try and do any more. Could just cut it off, I suppose, but that's a waste. I'm gonna see what I can do without actually managing to burn the rest of it. While I'm doing that, I'm also just going to quickly fill up my water. So you're slowly getting a little tour of the house now. So we're still missing loads of stuff, so everywhere looks really empty. Basically, don't move house during a pandemic because lots of your furniture will get delayed. Let's check the toast some more. I'm not sure I dare risk much more than that. We'll go a few more seconds. But yeah, don't move house during a pandemic because everything that you order will just get delayed. Our bed was meant to get delivered last week, but nope, still no sign of that. I'm still missing some parts. We still don't have internet, though that's not so much related to pandemic as just unluckiness with how things are being set up with what we want. And meanwhile, the table and the bench for the table are due to come this Saturday, and they will be going in this space where I've currently got the dryer on the go. So in this area. And then, our bin should be coming today. We've ordered a bin, and the one that we wanted's been out of stock for like weeks, and it's meant to be coming today, so no more just using a black bag on the floor anymore, if you've noticed that in any clip. But yeah, it's all a bit crazy. Our sofa's not due till next year. Oh yeah, I was on about the dining table, wasn't I? The dining table and the bench are coming this Saturday, but the dining chairs are on about a 6-month wait. Yes, I'm not even kidding, a 6-month wait. So yeah, it's not ideal. The living room is in a state of getting there. We've got some curtains that we bought that we haven't yet put up because there's a repair that needs doing around the window anyway, so we didn't see the point. So we're currently using a kind of throw kind of deal as a blind, which works fine for now. It's not great. It makes the living room dark in the day, but it's a faff to put it up and down, so we just leave it there. Also, a new card came today. So even though I've already been here a couple of weeks, we'll keep the cards up because I've now got a new one that I can add to it. But yeah, I just keep picturing what it'd be like to read in here once everything's how we envisioned it being. Like, we're waiting for a new TV stand. We're waiting for a new TV as a result because we might get the TV before the TV stand, but we don't know whether it'll fit on the old stand because this living room's huge. And so the current size TV just looks like a little baby. We also want to put another floor lamp in down that end with the new sofa in, which is a chaise, so I'll be able to just stretch back and read. Once it's all in, it's going to be like the coziest of cozy reading spots ever. And I can't wait to film in that position, but obviously we're just not there yet. All that waffling was so I could wait for the toast to cool down a bit because I'm one of those freaks that like to butter their toast once it's nearly cold. So you've got like a really nice thick layer of butter on, and seasoned with a bit of pepper. But yeah, once I've done that, I'm going to sit down with our book. Yeah, once I've done that, I'm going to sit down with my book, which I haven't touched since the other night. I can't remember what page number we are on. 44. Page 44. So barely dented. I do remember that there were lots of different kind of story arcs going on and that I was trying to work out how it was all going to connect. One of them was working for some sort of phone charity helpline. Another one was a murder? No, a burglary. A burglary. So I'm just waiting to find out how that's all going to connect, I think. So yeah. I'll get back to you once I've done some reading, I suppose, which will probably be in a few days again, knowing me, but at least I've thought to actually have a proper update clip here. Also, trying to find a filming angle when everything isn't set up yet, it's just tricky. So sorry that you've got some drying washing in the view there. Got very little choices on where to actually put the camera right now, so yeah, I'm gonna snuggle up at this point. I'm under my blanket. Toast is ready. And yeah, have a cozy but creepy reading time because it is quite dark. There's a bit of a creepy vibe going on. I'm gonna get stuck in. So I've just been reading for just under an hour, and yeah, I've had to turn the light on because it's just such a dark and dismal day. And I've made great progress. I am on page 86. And not only am I making great progress in the sense of I've made a good dent, but also I'm really starting to connect, in my own head at least, what might be happening, and I'm having a great time. So to keep this spoiler free, what I can definitely tell you about this plot is that someone's going around raping women who live alone, and that this criminal has now, what's the word? I'm having a total mind blank. There's a word, I can't think what the word is, but they are now kind of, wow, I can't find the English today. I swear this is like the remains of my migraine. Migraines always make me struggle with words a little bit. But yeah, this criminal kind of escalating, that's the word I wanted, is escalating now because they've just been to another crime scene, and this woman has not just been raped, she's also been murdered. So yeah, oh lord. As I've mentioned a few times in various videos recently, don't really know which videos, but I am basically living next door to a building site right now with buying a new build, and occasionally really noisy things happen, and right now something really noisy is now happening. Hopefully it's not too distracting and you can still hear me and I don't have to waste this clip entirely. So yeah, this criminal is escalating as he's now done that, and they're worried that he's going to start acting quicker and quicker while also murdering every future woman from here on out as well. Meanwhile, the point of view that we're still getting with the person who works for the charity, that charity phone line thing is called Mayday, and I mean, I'm sure it mentioned something about this in the description. Anyway, let me just check the description before I go, oh yes, I have psychic powers or whatever. Yeah, so even in the description it says that the person at the helpline will get a call that they think is a hoaxer. So I'm thinking basically that this person calls her, like the criminal calls her. And I'm thinking further than that then. I'm thinking he won't just call the helpline. I think he'll either murder her or try to murder her. Meanwhile, I've definitely had at least one other perspective as well, but I kind of lost track of that one and didn't really fully follow it. I think I zoned out a little bit. So yeah, there's definitely at least one other perspective going on in this book as well, possibly more than that. It's still a bit in that I need to try and pay more attention following some chapters, but yeah, I'm really enjoying this book actually. To think it's been sat on my bookshelf for, how long did I establish I'd had it for? A good 6 years. Makes me really sad. This deserved to be read a lot sooner than this. But yeah, I'm now going to go and be constructive. So I'll be at this point jumping to a different vlog. So if you've watched all of these vlogs recently, you will be seeing so much of me in each day crossed across different videos. But at least it helps me theme the videos. So yeah, I'm not sure when I'll be reading this again today, if at all. It's just before lunchtime now, so as I said, I'm gonna go and do some cleaning for an hour or so. Then I'll make lunch and I might sit down and read some more. But while I'm cleaning, I will be listening to my audiobook, so I might just leave that on while I make lunch and then eat it too. So if I don't update again today, then I'm sure at some point, either tomorrow or the day after, I will have made a severe dent into this book, which, as I said, I'm absolutely loving and currently would highly recommend. So exciting news, I have just finished reading The Nightmare Place by Steve Mosby. Ignore any noise in the background. Luke's playing with TVs because he likes electrical gadgets.
Tell them what TV we bought.
They're not going to know or care. This is a book channel. So yeah, I've just finished reading this book, and despite the fact that it's taken me a few more days to get through than what I thought it would, I've actually really enjoyed it. Considering I picked this up just to read and either like or get rid of, this is being kept. I've given this 4 stars.
I hit a mark.
I've given this 4 stars. As I said, in very many previous videos, I tend not to give out half stars, so If I was a half-star kind of person, this would be like a 4.5 stars, just to help you gauge. This is definitely like a high 4. This is a really excellent book. And I'm definitely going to try and check out more by this author because he has quite a few other thrillers under his belt, I believe, and I've definitely not read any. I enjoyed the twists and turns of this. It was not predictable in the slightest, which was fantastic. And it had such wonderful pacing. I was always on the edge of my seat, always thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Like, always about the consequences of everything. So, yeah, this is absolutely phenomenal. The reason why I didn't get 5 stars, in case you're wondering, is because I did find the odd chapter here or there I was a bit confused as to whose perspective I was, and I just felt like it wasn't done as well as it could have done in those senses. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. As I said, this is a really old book that I won from a Goodreads giveaway, so that is actually more like what the cover actually looks like, because this was a proof that I won. So yeah, what a success. I'm going to finish making the cups of tea that I've currently got on the go, and then I will get cracking with finding out what I'll be reading next in between helping Luke. Oh.
What?
No, I was just saying, oh, because I looked up when you went, ah. Anyway, I've just finished checking out what my next prompt is, and it's outside.
We're trying to film.
Maybe I need to go outside to film.
Stop it, plastic. You should leave this in.
I'll leave bits of it in. I'm not leaving all of it in. That'll get really boring. So yes, let's go somewhere not quite outside to match the prompt, but to a different room. So yes, my prompt is outside. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that just yet, but I can't wait to go and hunt on my bookshelves. And I've had such a mixed experience with this readathon so far. So the first book I gave like 2 stars. The last book I gave like 4 stars. What's going to happen with this next one? Also, the whole reason I ended up reading The Nightmare Place was because I was twisting the fact there was the word hoax, which had something to do with the Taylor Swift album. I don't remember anymore. The hoax aspect of that book was top notch. So actually, I don't feel like I've even cheated that prompt all that much anymore. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Anyway, yeah, need to go and finish my cup of tea and raid my bookshelves and hate plastic. So after much debating, I've decided to take the route that Emma recommends you can take, where it's a book that's outside of your comfort zone. So this is on my do I actually really want this pile, or this is on my do I really want this book or not pile. So I thought I'd check it out. This is Earth and Mars by Wayne Wignall. This is out of my comfort zone because this is sci-fi, but with also kind of gangstery kind of vibes to it, I think. So this is about a Briton who moves to America for a better, simpler life as an astronomer, yet he finds himself getting tangled in a dirty scheme of radical and organised power that holds the country. His life becomes complicated, a small team go to Mars, blah, 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 blah. I don't know whether I'm even going to like this, so this is massively out of my comfort zone, and I thought therefore would be really good as a pick for this, because if I don't like it, it'll encourage me to DNF it, and then I'll get rid of it, and if I do like it, at least I'll finally know what I'm doing with this book. So yes, I'll be get cracking on this probably tomorrow at this point, but there's a small chance I'll start reading it tonight. And I'll give you an update when I have started. Okay, so I'm actually doing it and I only feel a little bit bad about it. I've just spent the last hour or so reading Earth and Mars by Wayne Wignall. I'm on page 28 and I'm DNFing, and this is possibly the earliest DNF I've ever done in my life, since I rarely DNF anyway. Yeah, I'm just not feeling it. I don't think I'll ever be feeling it. This comfort zone thing, it's definitely not working for me. While this is outside my comfort zone, it's not the reason I'm actually DNFing. This will sound quite petty, but it's the combination of the fact that it hasn't yet pulled me in, which at 28 pages, I suppose, is me being a bit harsh. But that along with, there has been 2 typos on 1 page. 2 mistakes on 1 page that pulled me out of the narrative. And I was like, do I want this as a thing throughout the book? In a book that is already outside of my comfort zone and that I'm already struggling to really sort of focus to any extent with. And I was like, no. And then I was like, have I enjoyed this last hour or so of reading? And I was like, no. And I was like, well, DNF it then. So I am learning to DNF. This is going to go on my unhaul pile. And yeah, let's go and see what my next prompt is as a result. Okay, so my prompt is a book that feels like Panic at the Disco. I'm not a massive fan, but they do have one song that I absolutely love. It's going to be that one song that probably everyone who's not into them actually knows and likes. It's probably the only song I can even name by them, to be honest, which is, of course, High Hopes. So I'm going to go and look at my bookshelf now, and I'm thinking the way I'm going to go with this is a book that I have high hopes for. But to do that accurately, I'd probably have to read something that's not on my I need to read or else get rid of. So I don't know whether there are any on there that are in that section that I do have high hopes for. Let's go and have a look. We'll go and add this to the unhaul pile while we're going as well. So yeah, I really don't know. Let's see. So if we add this to my unhaul pile, which is just over here, I've already got rid of a bunch. That's in a different vlog. I got rid of loads, and the new unhaul pile has 4 books in it, so I'm feeling really quite pleased with myself. Right, High Hopes. What do I know of that could come under that? Kind of this one, actually. Was this a zombie book? I feel like it was. I remember this one really standing out as one. Right, this is a maybe. What else? Oh, I do have high hopes for this, but it's not really strictly in the pile. It's more just on that shelf because it's a tallish book and wouldn't fit anywhere else. Would I want to read this with the rest of the books in the series at some point? Probably. I'm not sure though. I will put that on the possible pile. What else do we have up here? Don't think there's any more on that shelf. This is not easy. I've got plans for some of these books to read in other ways. It makes this really difficult. Ooh, that's a possible. I've just found a thriller, which I've read another book by this author. Was it The Honeymoon? And I was blown away by it. It was really good. And then when I realised I'd actually got this book just chilling on my shelves that I'd had since for years, I was like, oh, I must read that sometime. And it's still just sort of just stayed sitting there, and now it's made it onto the do I even want to read this anymore kind of shelf. And so we're gonna go with this. This is One Step Too Far by Tina Seskis. So, an apparently happy marriage, a beautiful son, a lovely home. So what makes identical twin Emily Coleman get up one morning and walk out of her life to start all over again? How will she survive? And what is the date that looms, threatening to force her to confront her past? No one has ever guessed her secret. Will you? High hopes. Oh, but do I have higher hopes than one of these? Oh, why? Why didn't I just go for the very first book that I picked up? I need to have a look at these page counts. What is that? Let's put you down so I don't have to keep swinging you around everywhere. Try and get you some sort of level of balance. There we go. Right, now we can look properly. So this one is 336 pages of a pretty averagey sort of font. This one is 300 and... forgot already. Oh, this one's going to end up winning in the page number count. 300 and something. Shouldn't probably be on this pile because I don't think I'd get rid of it anyway. No, this one's going back up here because this does not count. I've decided, which means it's between these two. This one is like 340 pages. There's definitely a lot more writing per page though. I don't know. Maybe I'll just quickly read the first page maybe. Oh, let's look at the first sentence of each book actually. So one day in Gitmo Nation starts with President Harold Green, the 46th president, I can't speak, the 46th president of the United States of America is dead. Quite intriguing start actually, that one. How does this one start? The heat is like another person to push past as I make my way along the platform. Oh, this is so difficult. I'm gonna go with the initial pick. I'm gonna go with this one, as otherwise I'm just gonna stand here trying to debate what to pick all day, I think, and that's not helpful to anyone. So we'll just go with the initial one and pop this one back. I can't remember where on my shelf it was from. That's helpful, isn't it? Was it this shelf? It wasn't this shelf, then where the heck is it from? No idea. But there then, shall we? Okay, let's go and get stuck in. Okay, a couple of things. First of all, I'm 16 pages into One Day in Gitmo Nation, and this has helped me feel a lot better about DNFing the last book, because you know how I said that one of the reasons why was because I didn't feel sucked in yet, and I was like 20 odd pages in. And I was like, well, that's a bit early to feel sucked into a book anyway. But I'm 16 pages into this book and I'm well and truly sucked in. Like, I am gripped. I want to know exactly what is going on. I'm intrigued as hell. Meanwhile, I have no idea why I thought this was a zombie book, because it's definitely not. It's a thriller, and don't know an awful lot more yet. I mean, as I said, the back says a man boarding a plane at JFK. So that's what I've mainly been covering so far in this first 16 pages. This guy who has the same name as another guy has been pulled into like a separate security bit on his way to boarding this plane, and it's all really suspicious and weird, as I've now let him go and told him he can get on the plane, and he was a bit like, but I'm worried about this, especially since there's another guy with the same name on the plane and he's a bit suspicious of him. And he raises his suspicions with the people that had originally pulled him to one side and sort of taken him through the security bit, and they were like threatening towards him and told him he must get on this plane. And what the hell is going on? What the actual hell is going on? Meanwhile, the kind of prologue bit of this book, the president had been assassinated. This is all going to get really dark and twisty, I think, which is absolutely fantastic. Oh my god, and what the fuck? So this book, oh my god, I'm loving it. It's only been like 5 minutes, not even that, since I last updated you, but I need to update you again. Because, so he's getting onto this flight that I mentioned in the previous clip, and he's bought some like Coke drink, and he'd bought it after security, so shouldn't be an issue. He's at the front of the queue, and the air stewardess is like, I'm sorry, you can't take that onto the flight. And he's like, why? I bought it after security. And she was like, because it's not the brand that we currently have a deal with. Like, apparently the amount of people getting on planes or something, there's a serious downturn, and so planes have started doing sponsorship deals with like companies, and they'd done a sponsorship deal with a different brand that makes like Coke, and this is some special flavour they've got out. It's like a peanut butter cola or something, which sounds disgusting. And yeah, they're like, I'm afraid you're only allowed this drink on here. We can replace your drink for you with this one. And she's like, no, I don't want that. I'll just keep this one, thanks. She's like, you're not allowed it on the plane. And so he has his drink taken off him. They offer him this other one, but he doesn't want it. So he's like, no thanks, and just doesn't accept it. But what the hell? Imagine that being in our future. Not enough people are getting on planes right now because COVID. And so they'd be like, yeah, let's take a sponsorship deal. And you can only have things that they have sponsored on the plane. Like, no, I'm not up for that. There's a canine flu epidemic in this book. This is just like the icing on the cake. What is this book? Oh, I'm so hooked. Oh my god, before takeoff, they're doing temperature checks of each and every passenger, which doesn't feel a million miles away from what we're doing right now. Only you'd think that they'd check the actual temperatures before people got on the plane rather than when they're actually on the plane. But yeah, the passenger that's in front of the guy whose perspective we're following, like, suddenly started coughing, and they'd been fine up till this point. And so they dashed over and like did a check on him, and he started coughing even more, and he literally sounded like he could barely breathe. And he then tested positive, and they like frog marched him off the plane. It's like, oh my god, This is hitting home quite a lot right now. I am so here for this book. I've picked wonderful timing to film another update, haven't I? Again, I'm only a page or two further along than what I was before. Basically, the World Health Organization have just featured in this book as the guy who is on the plane is currently reading a newspaper and he's come across a double-page spread where the World Health Organization have now declared that this is a pandemic, not just an epidemic. And I was like, this book was written in 2013 and kind of got a feeling of what direction I think this is going in. And I feel like this book is going to be like Daily Mail commenters' absolute heaven. A lot of people in Daily Mail comments when you're looking at articles about the pandemic are always like, oh, this is like some sort of new world order. It's all a big conspiracy. I think this book is genuinely going to go in this direction. And I'll be really excited about it if it is. And I will say as well that this isn't like, I'm still not really any sort of spoiler amount of depth of way in. Like, I'm literally on page 25, which is chapter 12, as the chapters are really short and punchy. And I've had some answers now in terms of something to do with the other passenger who shares the same name. I've got something there with that. It's also very gripping and it's also very noisy. So I'm going to go and carry on reading. I promised I have moved. I've not just sat here all day. I mean, here's some evidence for you as it is. It's now a lot later in the day. And I'm on page 64. I'm on the second perspective so far that I'm getting in this book, and I've just found out why I might have thought that this was a zombie book. It's because it might still be a zombie book. Something's just happened at the 64 page mark which has made me think, oh, this might genuinely be a zombie book. So we will have to wait and see, but I'm still loving this as much as I was, if not possibly more. So yeah, assuming that I end up continuing to love this, I'm going to be shouting about it from the rooftops because this is an independent author. And so it's always great to support indie authors. And yeah, I'm having a great time with it. And I've not made as big a dent in it as I thought I would or that I wanted to. Just because I've had other stuff going on today. I've had work in and out. But yeah, this book is actually... I'm so glad I DNF'd that other one earlier and got started on this because this is just giving me so much reading joy right now. We haven't had a bed shot of this vlog. So here is the obligatory bed shot. So I finished last night... One Day in Gitmo Nation by Scott McKenzie. Absolutely, actually adored this book. It didn't go in the direction I was expecting it to, but that was no bad thing, and I had a great time. I don't want to talk about it too much because it would probably spoil, with the combination of the things I said before and the fact that it didn't go quite in the direction it went that I thought it was going to go. If I say stuff, it might kind of reveal too much. I will say though is, as I said, this is an independent author, so if you're even remotely intrigued, you should try and check this out and help support an indie author, as this was really well written, really well edited, just generally very creative and a lot better than some of the stuff that sometimes gets published out there by actual publishers. Like, this guy deserves a genuine publishing deal. This was amazing. So yeah, I've just watched my next prompt as I am in bed, and because I liked the setting of that book, this led me to a door where Monica Kim was behind the door, and my prompt is language, and I really don't know what I'm going to do with that, so I'm going to pop my dressing gown on and go and check out my bookshelves. Okay, I've found something and we're reaching. Oh boy, are we reaching. But this is The Other Typist by Suzanne Rindle. This is a historical fiction set in New York in 1924. And this woman gets a job typing. I'm assuming it's like something to do with typing maybe the news or just some sort of typing job. So my thought was, she's typing up language. I really struggled. So I'm going with this, and that is that. I will update you when I've actually done some reading of it. Oh, and this is also a book that I have owned for ages that I won in a Goodreads giveaway. So it's about time it got a read. I'm cheating a little bit here. I've decided to DNF The Other Typist by Suzanne Rindo. But I'm not going to DNF it and get rid of it forever. I'm just going to DNF it and put it back on my bookcase because I'm just not in the mood for it right now. So the date today is the 5th of December, and I was meant to be reading this over the last week or so. And I've literally only read a couple of pages. I've just never been in the mood to pick it up. I've been kind of leaning more towards wanting to pick up Christmassy books, which is what I've actually done. So I'm just DNFing this as I'm not in the mood for it right now, which also means that I'm therefore ending the readathon here. I know that for a while this was the last prompt. At some point I will go and watch the final video. But yeah, I know that this is me done at this point. And it's not been the reading extravaganza I thought it would be, but it has helped get me out of the reading slump that I was definitely in back then. So yeah, it's been a mixed bag. I've had some terrible reads, I've had some DNFs, and I've had a brilliant read. So all in all, I really enjoyed this readathon. I hope it comes back for another one because I love the idea of it, and it's such a wonderful creative way of doing a readathon. I would love to see more like this. So yeah, thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe by clicking the image of me if you want to see more book reviews and other bookish content from me, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.